India was among the first countries in the world to initiate action plans and programs at a national level in order to attain the total reproductive health of a society. Technologies have been improving day by day. It is because of the plan implemented by the government in 1951. So the main function of the amniotic fluid is to protect the infant. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to today's session on the reproductive health. I'm Dr. Divya, Biology Faculty, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysore, Temple of Excellence. So reproductive health, it is very important for a human being, especially when it comes to females. So if the females have to maintain a good reproductive health, the males also play a major part. Reproductive health usually refers to a healthy reproductive organs with normal functions. So what are those reproductive organs? The uterus, and in male, the testes and all the male reproductive organs. So they come under the reproductive organs. So if these reproductive organs, be it the uterus, the vagina, the cervix, the fallopian tubes, and when it comes to male, the male accessory ducts, then you have the testes and all those regions, if they are healthy, then that particular human being, be it the male or the female, is said to be reproductively healthy. So reproductive health, it refers to a healthy reproductive organ with normal functions. So according to the World Health Organization, so about World Health Organization, all of you have heard in the recent times because of the coronavirus. So any health issues related to any part of the region or country of the whole world, it is decided by the World Health Organization. Any pandemic is coming in, any new virus or bacteria or any of the microorganism has been discovered. Not just that, be it malnutrition of the children, be it the reproductive health of the females. So all these decisions are taken by the World Health Organization. So the World Health Organization, according to them, reproductive health means the total well-being of an individual in all aspects. It is not just taking care of the reproductive structures of the male or the female, but it is also taking care of the whole total well-being of an organism in all aspects of reproduction. So when we talk about total well-being, it can be either physical, emotional, behavioral and social. So all these, because the physical activities, too much of physical activities can also affect the reproductive health. You should always exercise minimum, not go beyond that. So, or too much of the other physical activities also may also affect the reproduction or the reproductive health. And coming to emotional, your emotion is the one which decides how the hormones have to be released. So, if you're too much stressed, there is release of the cortisol. So this stress related hormone, which is called as the cortisol, it is the one which brings about a major change, or it fluctuates the hormones, especially in males and in females, that is in human beings. So therefore, emotional health of a person is also important if the reproductive health has to function properly. And when it comes to behavioral, so your stress, your anxiety, your temper, all these, like how you live in a society, the area where you live in, the hygiene of that particular region, stress or the trauma to which you are subjected to, all those behavioral activity also is responsible to bring a decline or to reduce the reproductive health. So therefore, according to World Health Organization, even the behavior of the society or the people living in a society, the behavior of the female or the male is also responsible for the reproductive health. And apart from that, social. So I've already mentioned about that. So according to the World Health Organization, the reproductive health means not just taking care of the different organs of the reproductive system, but also it depends on the total well-being of the human being, such as be it physical well-being, the emotional, the behavioral, and the social well-being of a person. So this is what the World Health Organization said. So next, moving on to, there are various problems and strategies that can be adopted in order to solve these problems in reproductive health. So India, you know that India is a highly populated country, right? After China, it is India which stands in the second place. So in India, being a highly populated country, and also maintenance of cleanliness and hygiene is very difficult when there is too much of people overcrowded in a region, right? So India was the first country to give importance to the reproductive health. So India was the first country to give importance to the reproductive health. So they were the one to initiate various action plans, or they were the ones who incorporated various action plans in order to take care of the women's health as well as the child health. So India was among the first countries in the world to initiate action plans and programs at a national level in order to attain the total reproductive health of a society, because reproduction, you know, it is very, very important. Reproduction is important because if the generation of the human beings has to continue, then reproduction is very, very important. And you know that nowadays people are subjected to a lot of stress. Not just the stress, be it the containers we use for cooking, be it the various medicines we take, or be it the pollution that we are subjected to. Even earlier days, people used to drink pure well water, but nowadays we have a water which is pure, but it is treated with chemicals. So that is why all these causes a major fluctuation in the hormone of the human beings, therefore affecting the reproductive health. So nowadays, at those times, that is in 1951, these programs were initiated. So since it was, we are thankful for our country to be the one to take care of the female reproductive health, and also to take care of the children or the infants. So they were called as the family planning. So in order to take care of the reproductive health of the females and the children, the government of India in 1951 brought about a new program of planning called as the family planning. So family planning, it is not just maintaining the reproductive health, but also in a family, how many number of children must be there. Beyond that, if a woman goes on giving birth to child, it will indirectly affect her health as well. So that is why, to prevent all those, because you know that earlier days people used to give more importance to boy infants, and they were female feticide and all that, or infanticide was more during the earlier times. So sometimes what they would do is, until they have a boy child, they would keep on delivering. So the number of children in that particular family would increase. So to stop all that, so when the number of children in each family increases, the population also will explode, right? There will be an explosion in the population. The population of the country will become more. So in order to avoid all those, a family planning was initiated in the year 1951 by the Indian government. So the credit for the implementation of the first planning or program to bring about a good reproductive health in the female and to bring about a good development in the children, the credit goes to India. So next we have the reproductive and the child healthcare program. So I told you the reproductive and the child healthcare program, whatever was undertaken in our country, in India, it was in the year 1951, wherein it was called as the family planning. But now it is called as reproductive and child healthcare program. Earlier it was called as family planning, but now they have changed the program as reproductive and child healthcare program. So this is an improved program when compared to the 1951. So 1951 there were certain agendas or points that were followed, but when the years went by, they started to improvise by adding new agendas, new ideas and new action plans into this particular program. So it is an improved program which covers a wider reproduction related areas, and also it operates under the name as RCH. So this particular program which or plan which takes care of the reproductive health of the females and also the health of the children, it is called as the RCH program, that is the reproductive and the child health care program. It is called as RCH program. So various action plans and all that have been implemented under this program. So what were those action plans? We will just look into. So we'll talk about in detail what all ideas or what all techniques were implemented, or what all plans or what all measures were implemented under this reproductive and child health care program. The first plan that was implemented was to create awareness. So to create awareness in the society about the reproductive health, about the nutrition provided to the children. Most of the children, families where there is lot of children, obviously the income will be very less. Even though they have a good income, they will not, that particular income will not be sufficient to feed the entire family. At that time, what happens? A lot of children in that particular family, they will suffer from nutrition deficiency. So it was the idea of the government to create awareness among such people. So to make them limit their family to just having 1 or 2 children. So that is what comes under the first program, wherein they created an awareness among the people. In the second program, they provided facilities and support. As I told you, like usually when you reward something to a particular person, then only he will try to implement a particular plan, right? So what the government did was they started to provide facilities and support. So they said that they started to give incentives, maybe in the form of ration, or maybe in the form of money, or maybe a discount in the education of the child, or the discount in hospitals. So all these they started to give facilities and support. So when the government introduced that, saying that in a family, if you have just 1 or 2 child, we will fund half of their education. Or maybe if you have 1 child, we will fund the entire education of the child. We will take care of the hospital facility, the nutrition of the child and all that. So to a poor person, if you give all these rewards, or if you keep such prizes, or if you give them such facilities and support, they will start to think, okay, let me limit my family to just 1 child or 2 child. So in such way, the government started to provide facilities and support to the people. And not just that, they also started distributing various contraceptive methods. So you'll study in detail in the coming session. So here what they did was they started to distribute certain contraceptive methods for free of cost by undertaking various government as well as non-government organizations. They came together and they started providing such facilities to the people. And next is introduction of sex education. So this is also one of the important program implemented or plan implemented by the government. So what they did was, in schools, especially for the high school students, they started implementing a curricular education system. I don't know whether you all had this particular thing, but when we were kids, when we were in high school, we had a separate class. After the regular subject, we had a class wherein we were taught about all these, like how the adolescence, what all changes. So you know that adolescent age is a very confusing age, right? Because we are neither, during adolescence, the children are neither treated as kids nor as adults. It is a confusing state. There will be a lot of transitions taking place, be it the hormonal transitions or transitions in the body, all that will be taking place in the adolescent age. So in order to educate the youngsters, that especially the high school kids, in order to educate the youngsters, the government started introducing various sex related education. So what all changes occur in the body, what all even our thoughts, the way we think, everything changes when we are adolescents. So if you educate the children in that particular age regarding the contraceptive methods, or regarding the how you need to treat the women, how you need to save the girl child. So all such programs, or the sex related programs, all that they started teaching the children. So this was the introduction of the sex education. It is not only important for the adolescents, but it is also important for the illiterate or the uneducated people as well. So both the government as well as the non-government organization, they started doing dramas. You might have seen in villages, they stage a drama, right? So that the people, when you talk to someone for long hours, they may not be able to understand. But if you stage a drama in front of the people, then they will be able to understand, because watching a movie is something than just listening to the movie, right? It's a lot of difference. So all these were implemented in this particular program. And next is to give proper information. You need to educate. The government decided that proper information should be given to the people. What sort of information? Like, you know that every time whenever a woman delivers a girl baby, the woman or the female will be blamed for it. But actually, you know that the female carries the XX chromosome and the male is the one who carries the X and the Y chromosome. XY chromosome is the one which will decide whether in a female a girl baby should be delivered or a boy baby should be delivered. But in spite of that, the people will always start blaming. Even nowadays also it is in practice in most of the places. They will start blaming the female for that. So in order to prevent all that, a lot of problems will start occurring in the family because of all this. So to prevent all this, the government decided to give proper information. So you might have seen in the theaters and all, before the movie starts, they'll put a advertisement related to the child health care program, related to the female infanticide or feticide, and related to adoption, like where you need to adopt. So don't blame the women. If you don't have a child, you can go and adopt in government related agencies. So all these proper information was introduced by the government in the form of advertisement. And also people were taught, like they were provided knowledge saying that the woman is not the one responsible for delivering a female child. It purely and it mainly depends on the male partner. So, and also educating people. So here also the same thing, educating people about the various changes, about hygiene especially. So when you have a period, what all hygienic measures you have to follow, the cleanliness you have to follow, what kind of proper nutrition you have to take, because because health, hygiene and cleanliness is the one which plays a major role in the reproductive health. If you're not hygiene and clean, then your reproductive health will get deteriorated. So all these education, the government as well as the certain NGOs, which are called as the non-government organizations, also have provided, and they bring awareness of the problem. Okay, they have educated the people about the problem that occurs because of being a clean, unhygienic, or like having multiple partners, like blood transfusion. So when you take blood transfusion, you have to always take care of the needle. You have to use a new sterilized needle, not reuse it again. And also sometimes because of various drugs also, these reproductive health will be affected. So proper information should be given, and and the government also, they started to educate the people about it. And the best example is what you're studying now. In your textbook, you have about reproductive health. Why it is there in the textbook? Because the government said it should be a chapter in your textbook so that you'll know about the reproductive. So this is also one of the best plans that is put forth by the government, wherein when you read in your textbook, in the future, you will come to know what all things you have to maintain in order to have a good reproductive health, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Or in other terms, you can say what are the do's and the don'ts. So next is awareness of problems. So you have come across a problem now wherein your reproductive health has deteriorated. Okay, it is irreversible. You can't do anything now. So what is the solution for that? So all those solutions will be provided by the government. So say for example, how you need to maintain a hygiene, how you need to maintain the cleanliness. If you have a reproductive health issue, you should meet a proper doctor, not go to somebody who is there in a village, a practitioner, a medical practitioner who is in a village, who gives you few herbs and all that will not help. You should visit a proper healthcare facility wherein there is a proper doctor or a gynecologist who is related to the reproductive health issues. So all these awareness of the problems they have implemented, and not just that, they have also implemented about various factors, such as if you have multiple partners, you may develop various sexually transmitted diseases, which you'll be studying later on in detail. So all these problems, what if such problems come, it is always better to prevent the problems and then later on regret and find cure for the problem. But for some reason you have the problem, and what all you can do about it, all those have been put under this particular plan under the reproductive child health care program, which is nothing but the awareness of the problem. Next is implementation of various action plans. So all this is implementation of various action plans, that is you have to educate them about the sexually transmitted diseases, you have to educate them about the hygiene and the cleanliness, how you will implement the plan. So all these plans that are there can be implemented by giving various TV programs, giving various advertisements, by creating dramas or staging dramas related to the reproductive health in villages. All these, or any non-government organization, they can visit them, and the ladies can be brought separately and they can be educated about that. The gents can be brought separate and educated about that. So all these action plans or implementation of various action plans are being followed under this particular program. So after following all these action plans or programs under the reproductive health and the child health care program, there are various factors that have improved the reproductive health in the society. So what are the various factors that have been improved in the reproductive health of the society is this particular plans, whatever we had discussed in the previous slide. Here there are various they are very, very important, or they are very essential in order to provide medical assistance and care to the people in reproduction related problems. So prior itself, people should be educated when you have a reproductive health related problem, whom you should visit, what you have to do, not keeping quiet for a longer duration. Why? Because if say for example you have an infection in the reproductive structure of the female, and you just keep quiet because you might be shy to speak with somebody, later on in the later years when you reach the child bearing age, right, at that time it will lead to a very big problem wherein you may become infertile. So to prevent all those, it is essential to provide medical assistance and care to the people in reproduction related problems. So this was one thing. So under all these plans which have, or under all those programs which we had discussed earlier, what action plan came up was a lot of hospitals and medical assistance as well as care, both from the government and as well as the non-government organization, was provided to the people in order to understand about their reproductive health and what should be done and what can be done when you are under a crisis, that is when your reproductive health is not good. And next is implementation of better techniques and new strategies from time to time are also needed or also required to provide more efficient care and assistance to people. So say for example, you go to a college, so now you're in your second PUC. So second PUC, they just put you in a college and say study. What will happen? Every day you'll have a question mark, you'll have a confusion, right? What should I study? What is my curriculum? How can I create a timetable? Nothing will be given to you. It is a confusion for you. But what a school does is, it will create a timetable wherein this particular class you have to attend at this time. You have your exams will be on this particular day. This is your curriculum. This is your syllabus. According to this, you have to study. All that will be fixed and it will be given to you, right? Your main thing is what your work is to implement or to bring that plan into action, which is studying and then putting out whatever you have studied, putting it in the exam and then clearing your exams, right? In good, with flying colors. So that is your duty. Same thing here. The government has given a idea, or it has put forward a agenda about the reproductive health and the child health related programs. So it has given an idea. Now it is the duty of the other people to implement this. Using the government's idea, what all strategies they have adopted is, one is to provide medical assistance and care to the people, and also to improve, to every day the techniques or the technologies are improving day by day. So to improve or to bring about better techniques and new strategies every year or from time to time, and also to provide more efficient care and assistance to people. So compared to earlier times, you know that earlier times it was difficult for the people to maintain a good reproductive health. But nowadays, even though your reproductive health is not good, there are various techniques such as, be it in vitro fertilization, be it IUDs, or that is various contraceptive methods, or various methods which can help you bear a child. So all these technologies have been improving day by day. It is because of the plan implemented by the government in 1951. So every year it is changing and it is becoming better and better. So next is, there are various factors that have improved in the reproductive health of a society. So what are those factors? We'll study. So in a society, now we have better awareness about the reproductive health. So better awareness, how hygienic we should be, what all food practices we need to follow, all those better awareness has already been implemented. And next is decreased maternal and infant mortality rates. So here, decreased maternal rate. Maternal, it is the mother. Maternal means mother. Paternal means father. So here we are talking about the maternal, that is the mother's reproductive health, as well as the infant's death rate. Earlier, hospitals were very less. Medical assistance was minimal, right? So that at those years, women used to give birth to a child in a house itself. But nowadays, you have a large amount of hospitals and good doctors available with new technologies and all that. That is why death of the mother and the child during the labor has or during parturition, what you say, has already declined. So wherein there has been a decrease in maternal and infant mortality rates. And apart from that, there has been an increased number of couples with small families. I told you in 1951, the government had implemented one plan wherein they decided about family, wherein they had decided about the family planning. So about the family planning, people have started to think now about it. They have restricted the number of children in a family to just one or two. So this has been already implemented by a majority of the people. So increased number of couples with small families. And next is better detection and cure for STDs. Earlier also there were sexually transmitted diseases, but people were not educated or they were not aware of that. They would think it is because of something else, because of some superstition, and they would just keep quiet, leading to major health problems later on. But nowadays, people are educated about what are the different sexually transmitted diseases are there, which you will be studying in your next sessions in detail. Say for example, you have gonorrhea, you have AIDS, and you have various vaginal infections, cervical infections, all these different sexually transmitted diseases. It is there even today, but their early detection, but the detection is more early because of various improvement in the technologies or the various laboratory equipments and all that. And next is increased medical facilities. So nowadays you find a lot of gynecologists who are ready to assist you, even though to assist you to have a good reproductive health, and not just that, also to find a solution if your reproductive health is not good. What kind of solution? As I told you previously, there are various solutions, such as you can go in for in vitro fertilization technique, you can go in for intrauterine insemination, and all these, and also to make a family small, or to restrict only one or two child in a family, or to give a gap between the number of children in a family. There are various contraceptive methods also involved. So if you just, when you're of a reproductive age, you can just visit your family doctor or a gynecologist. You can sit and talk to her for long hours, and you can gather a lot of information which you can implement in your daily life in order to keep your reproductive health good. And next is ban on amniocentesis or for sex determination. That is, there has been a ban on amniocentesis. Amniocentesis, amnio, it is something related to, amnio is something related to the amniotic fluid. So where is the amniotic fluid present? So in the mother's womb, the baby is covered by a fluid, right? It is usually a white or a pale yellow color liquid. So the main function of the amniotic fluid is to protect the infant that is there, or the fetus that is there inside the womb, to protect it from various infections and also from damage being caused to it. So amniotic fluid is very, very important. So what usually amniotic fluid or this technique called as, I'll just tell you what amniocentesis is. So amniocentesis is a technique wherein what the doctor does is, in his surgery room, he just takes a small sample of the amniotic fluid. He just draws out, or he removes a small sample, and he observes the samples, or he looks at the sample or makes observations on the sample, that is especially clinical observation on the sample, where in order to determine the if there is any abnormalities in the fetus, or also if there is any genetic disorder. So you know that there are various genetic disorders. The most important one is the Down syndrome. So these are all related to the genes which cannot be changed. If all such conditions are whether, and they also can find out that whether this particular infant may cause problem to the mother, health of the mother. So in such cases, abortion can be done, which is actually advantage or a boon to the mother. But people, what they have started doing is, this particular technique, that is amniocentesis, they have been used for selfish purposes. How? They are used for sex determination. You know that it is a ban in our country, right? In our country, we are not supposed to determine the sex of the infant. That is, before a child is born, it is illegal to determine whether it is a girl child or a boy child. And also, if the doctors know, the doctors obviously they'll know about it, but the doctor should not inform the parent, right? That is banned in India. So a ban on amniocentesis for sex determination is there. So amniocentesis as a advantage as well as a disadvantage. Advantage is that by taking a bit of the amniotic fluid and examining it, the doctors can find out if the infant is going to cause any problem to the mother or not, so that it can be aborted, or also what are the genetic disorders that will spring up in that particular infant. All that can be detected, which is an advantage. But on the other hand, a disadvantage is that using the amniotic fluid, you can determine, or by the procedure of amniocentesis, you can determine whether the fetus is a girl or a boy. Therefore, people, what they do is, if it is a girl child, they'll go in for an abortion, right? So in order to prevent all that, the government, they have put a ban on the amniocentesis, especially for sex determination. You can follow this procedure for various other reasons, but for sex determination, this particular procedure is a ban especially in our country, India. And also massive child immunization. So earlier, the number of vaccines given to a child was very, very less. But nowadays, you might have noticed, right? Once a child is born, in the hospital itself, they'll give a chart wherein from the birth of the child, what all, or not just from the birth of the child, before the child is born, when it is in the mother's womb, what all immunization should be given to the mother, which will protect the child in the future. Or once the child is born, what all vaccinations or immunizations the child has to take, all that will be given in which month, in which year, at what age, all that will be given in the form of a timetable or a chart to the mother. So looking at that, she can take the child for vaccination. So massive child immunization programs and all have been coming up, and it is improving, and the number of vaccines that are given today is more when compared to the earlier times. So all these massive child immunization techniques and all have evolved. And next is educating people. So earlier there was a misbelief that you should not educate, a girl should be taught separately about her reproductive health and a boy should be taught separately about their reproductive health. No, it is not like that nowadays. All are considered to be equal. You should not have any shyness to come forward. If you have any problem, you should not think, no, I'm not going to read this chapter, it is not suited for me. No, you should not think all of that. So educating people also has improved nowadays. People talk about it freely. They are open now more than when compared to the earlier generations. Nowadays people are more open about all this. So the education given to the people has also improved related to the reproductive health. So all these are the things that the government which had implemented a program in 1951. Because of that, a lot of all these developments have taken place in the society. So this is about what were the factors that the government or the programs implemented by the government in order to improve the reproductive health of a society or reproductive health of a female, and also once a child is born, how proper the child can be cared for. All these different measures have been implemented, and because the government implemented such measures in the year 1951, even that is carried even today, but with better plans, better technologies and all that. So in the next session, we shall discuss about population explosion, as well as we shall discuss about birth control. So population explosion. So because of improvement in the reproductive health, I told you in the previous slide, the mortality rate of the mother and the infant has decreased drastically, right? Has decreased. So that in turn, though it has been an advantage, it has resulted in population explosion. You might have heard of Darwin's theory, survival of the fittest, right? So in an environment, you leave an organism to survive on its own. You should not try to try to save it, because if you do that, the population, a fish, it will release lakhs of eggs into the water, right? But will all those eggs, imagine what will happen if all the eggs will develop into young ones. The ocean or the sea will be filled. There won't be any place. So that is one of the reasons. That is the same thing is happening in human beings also, because of various developments or various technology improvement related to the reproductive health. There has been an increase in the population, which has resulted in population explosion, wherein the mortality rate of the infant and the mother has drastically come down. So we'll study about the population explosion. Not just that, even it is necessary to educate the people to just limit the number of children to either 1 or 2. So that is about population explosion, which we'll study in detail in the next coming session. And in order to control the population explosion, various birth control measures have been implemented or have been taken by the government, or the people are being educated about the birth control measures. So what are those birth control measures? All that in the next session we will study. So I hope this session you have understood very well. So we shall meet in the next coming session. Thank you.